the top of the morning. For some of y'all, it might be the afternoon. For some of y'all, it might be the evening. You feel me? But wake it up. It's time to wake it up. And I say that because this is for the Black American, right? They keep putting you in the same category as an African to trick you up off the motherfucking land. When is you gonna wake up? When are you gonna wake up? So what I got in front of you is an old newspaper, right? An old newspaper. It's called the Coco. I'm sorry, the Coco Nino, or that matter of fact, it looked like a T. That is a T. I'm sorry, the Toconino Sun, and this is in Flagstaff, Saturday, February 11th, 1899. Right. What we're gonna do is scroll down. I shared this like at the end in the last video, but I'm gonna put this in the beginning so everybody can see how they was trying to take the American black. So by them taking the American black and trying to mix them with the foreigner, like I said, they're tricking you off the land. If you knew who you were, you understand why it's important for you to claim your heritage that's connected to this land, right? Because we're not from Africa. Let's get that straight. To to say you come from America means your you have ancestry here, and your ancestors built this shit from the ground up. And this is why they don't want you to claim it, because if you know who you are and you understand this, then your confidence will be at an all-time high. You'll be going for government jobs. You'll be doing a great service to your people. You'll be helping your people, and you won't be a motherfucking sellout. Point blank. Period. But let's get into this, right? So it says the Alabama legislator who wants a law enacted substituting the word Negro for the word colored. So this is the whole switcheroo, right? Yeah, the whole they want you to be black, Negro, colored, African American. They were switching up all these names to get you from your relatives, right? So as you guys can see, this Alabama legislator wants Negro to be substituted for the word colored. So you was Indian, you was freedman, then became colored, then Negro, then black, then African American. I'm telling you, it's a timeline of this shit, right? Okay, so then it goes on to say wherever it refers to the black race. Once again, now they pushing the race construct. So this whole if you're dark brown, then you're part of the black race, and if you super light, then you're part of the white race. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's divide and conquer. It's divide and conquer. It's even man, look, this shit crazy. But look, we're gonna continue this. But it says has common sense on his side, and then it says Negro means black man, but a person of color, which is the legal phrase in Alabama now, person of color, which is a legal phrase in Alabama now, means anything from red Indian to a coal black African. So it's just, and so the shit is telling you that they was doing it with the word color. So it wasn't just with the word Negro, but with the word color. They will say they will put you in with the foreign African, aka European, right? Right. So if you already had black people here who were Indians, and then they try to mix them with the foreigner African, then there's going to be problems. There's going to be problems. Then there's going to be confusion, like we have today, right? We got people who's really from America, but they pushing this pro-black Pan Africanism shit, and they so confused because they don't know their family lineage, and they want you fucked up and confused. Shut this shit down. Let's shut this shit down. Anyway, let's get into what an Indian is, though. As you can see, from a red skin, meaning a reddish brown tone people, to a coal black African, right? Let's get into what an Indian is. So who is an Indian, right? An Indian is another term, the meaning of which varies according to the purposes for which the definition is sought. In the most general terms, a person must meet two requirements to be an Indian. He or she must, one, have some Indian blood, and two, be regarded as an Indian by his or her community. So, most of the black people in the United States, have Indian blood, right? Problem with number two is when there's confusion and they're trying to teach us where we came from, these foreigners who infiltrated our system, our government, when they're trying to tell us who we are and where we came from, then how can our community acknowledge us? So this is why these conversations need to be had in home with your family, and then it travels out, and then we connect. Because once you find out who you are, and then when you connect, our families connect, then we could go reach out to other families, right? But we have to have this camaraderie, and we have to have this discipline, and we have to have the ambition to do this, right? But it don't stop there. Okay, so now it continues on, and it says, to have Indian blood is to have had ancestors living in America before the Europeans arrived. Remember, I told you, when you understand that you are the first here and you have a royal bloodline as Indian folk and you have tribes you belong to, this is why they want you to be everything else but Indian. That's why if you pay attention to, even with this online shit, you'll hear everybody say you are Moor, you are Hebrew, you're Pan African, you're Aboriginal from Australia. Like, they gonna tell you everything else but what an Indian is, right? They gonna tell you that you everything else but a Indian, right? But as you can see, to have Indian blood is to have had ancestors living in America before the Europeans arrived. So what we have today is people online saying that they have European blood. They're saying this because they want to take your shit. It's no different than the word American. How the word American first applied to the Indians commercially, and then the Europeans want to take that. But see, they can't take Indian because it's bloodline. It's dealing with bloodline. And there's records, there's monuments, there's statues, there's buildings, architecture. This is your shit. Then it goes on to say, but this fact is obviously never provable as such. It is enough that a parent, grandparent, or a great grandparent was clearly identified as an Indian. So, since you can't go back in the beginning of time, right? They're letting you know, they're giving you parent, grandparent, or great grandparent because there's records. And even with great great with great greats and your great great greats, there's still records out there of your relatives being Indian. They just don't want you to know that, but you have to go hunt and go get this shit, right? So now we have because the general requirement is only of some blood. A person may be classified as an Indian despite a very low quantum of Indian blood, such as 1/16. Now, what they're talking about is when the United States created the Dawes Rolls, right? The Indians did not create the Dawes Rolls. The United States created the Dawes Rolls and put white people on Dawes Rolls as 1/16. By this time when the United States did this, right, foreigners have infiltrated. White Africans infiltrated, right? So when you see on some of these rolls, on these Dawes rolls, just remember when you see 1/16, and that means 1/16 means you have one Indian grandparent out of 16, parents, right? Which, makes no sense, right? But then it says, particularly statutes, however, may set higher blood requirements. And we're going to, in the next video, we're going to continue on, uh, with these laws and statutes and stuff like that. But this is to give you a general idea of what an Indian is, right? You, number one, love yourself as number one. Treat yourself better as number one, and treat others, treat your brethren, treat your sister how they supposed to be treated, right? Let's all get on one page and make this push, because it's very important for you to understand the history here in the United States. But anyway, this is Choctaw Mac. On to the next video.